Hello and welcome. I'm your host, William Liu. This is the Reaction Podcast presented by Betway. For all your sports betting needs, please hit the QR code below or follow the link in the description of the YouTube or the podcast in which you are listening to this. Raptors lose tonight by a score of 122 to 108. It was an uphill battle the entire time, kind of as you would expect. I mean, like young Raptors team going on the road to Cleveland. Raptors in a good spot right now. They're getting healthier and healthier, and you did see a pretty spirited effort. The Raptors fought hard. I really don't have too many complaints. Well, actually, I don't have any complaints about how hard they played. The game didn't really come down to that. The game came down to Cleveland just having more depth in their team. Cleveland having more three-point shooting for sure. And honestly, a lot of their really good three-point shooters actually missed threes, even though they did actually ultimately hit 40%. And of course, Cleveland having the depth of playmakers, because if you haven't seen already this season, it's not just like Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. Like, yes, those guys have been in Cleveland. They've been doing a great job for a while. Jared Allen was great. Evan Mobley gets the dunk-free layups all the time and, looks cool, I guess. But, it's the depth of their roster when they're bringing all these guys off their bench who can shoot the three. And then today wasn't even a good shooting day for Sam Merrill or Georges Niang, but it was certainly a good shooting day for Ty Jerome. I mean, Ty Jerome, he walked by the Raptors. Last play where Ty Jerome scored, he literally up faked two Raptors out of their boots, drove in, threw up another up fake, faked another Raptor out, and then just walked in for a layup. Like, it was that type of night for them. And I gotta say, the Raptors, like, despite being down early and obviously taking a lot of pressure on the road, I think they got down 16 in the first quarter, which is obviously never ideal. Raptors did fight. They fought hard. They showed good spirit. They showed good energy. I think obviously you look in the box score of a game like this, it doesn't help that they shot so poorly from the free throw line. I mean, obviously Cleveland was going to kill them from the 3-point line by knocking down 16 of 41. Toronto actually was okay. 12 of 39 is not great, but they literally missed like 4 threes in the last possession. So it's like whatever, like just throw that kind of stuff out. But 3-point shooting wasn't that terrible for Toronto, but it was the free throw shooting. 22 for 34. Lots of like RJ misses both, Scottie misses both. I mean, the two of those guys were the main culprits there. 7 of 12 for Scottie Barnes and 2 of 6 for RJ Barrett. Like, just a lot of points left on the table, which again, like, I don't know if that would have made the difference. I feel like the Raptors also had a lot of untimely turnovers that basically all led to transition buckets for Cleveland. Those little things that you can clean up on the margins, but also at the same time, let's be honest, man, Cleveland's like balling. Like, they're 10-0, they're 17-1 to start the season. Super impressive. The only team that's actually knocked them off at all this year has been Boston, and it was in Boston, and that's the reigning champions, who like actually showed Cleveland that respect by playing, Al Horford, by playing Drew Holiday. And yeah, that game even came down to like 1 or 2 possessions at the end, which is like, again, super, super impressive for Cleveland. So they've been playing really well. But of course, like, you don't want to hear about all the Cleveland stuff. You want to hear about the Toronto side. So of course, I'm going to get into that. But of course, as a reminder too, drop your comments and your questions into the chat. I'll be taking those as always on the second half of the Reaction Podcast. Producer Alex is in the chat today, and he's going to be looking for questions. We're also going to bring him in for the second half of the program too. So Alex, you got like 20-ish minutes before you got to turn that ring light on. But yeah, so this game, a couple things I thought that were really interesting about this game. Number one, it's always interesting to see how Scottie is going to handle playing against Cleveland. We saw that on opening night. He did not have a good night against Cleveland. Cleveland also beat the Raptors by like 30 that night. So, this actually is a much better effort by Toronto overall. Granted, obviously the roster and personnel was different. They had IQ for that one for the first half, and then he left with an injury. And then this one, we had, RJ Barrett available. But yeah, ultimately, like, it was going to be interesting to see how Scottie handles this specific matchup, because Cleveland just has so much size to throw at him. They got Evan Mobley on there. And it's always, I never get the sense that like they're particularly close. I know they were teammates once upon a time playing for like some U18 tournaments or U17 tournaments for Team USA, but like, there was obviously, it was very, very close race between the two of those for Rookie of the Year, and they sort of just kind of gone back and forth. Yeah, I mean, both players have a really good matchup guarding each other. Like, I think Scotty was trying as much as possible to sort of get different matchups, whether that was Georges Niang or one of the smaller players on him, so he can duck in. And just seeing Scotty's process and how he played. It's also interesting, obviously, because Scotty is this is only game two after he's come back from the injury where he suffered the orbital bone fracture that's left him wearing goggles. And yeah, a bit of a scary moment in this game when Jared Allen, Scotty was under the basket trying to go up, and Jared Allen just like clobbered him. No hard foul. I mean, it was a hard foul, but it wasn't like a bad foul. It was just like he's trying to protect the rim. His arm comes down a little bit, whatever. But like seeing Scotty down in pain for like a minute was like really, really scary, considering the fact that he had just missed the last 3 weeks with this injury. Thank goodness he had the goggles on, but that impact was so strong it popped the goggles right off his head. And shouts to Jakob Pertl, sweetly just like reassembling the strap back to the back of the goggles so that Scotty can get those back and shoot the free throws. To his credit, he made both of those. Um, but yeah, I thought first half, I really didn't like the shot selection from Scottie Barnes. At halftime, he was, I believe, 1 for 7 from the field, and that included 0 for 5 from three. He did eventually get 1 3 to drop, but in the second half, completely different. Scotty was going to the basket over and over and over again. And I thought that it was just like a very fearless performance from him in the second half. First half, I think it was just like too much sort of like sitting back. And yeah, he was like really trying to set up RJ, and RJ was hitting for a while, but it's like it's still ultimately like the impetus is on Scotty to sort of attack. And I thought the first half, him shooting a lot of like pull up threes in transition, and it's a shot that he says he really likes, that pull up three coming down, but like he just wasn't hitting. The shots were kind of erratic. He was shooting from various distances. Some of those were quite deep. He would try to go for a 2 for 1 at one point that wasn't really that close. So a lot of that stuff, I just thought that he wasn't really he was giving the Cavs an easy way out, quite frankly, because he just wasn't impactful on offense. Second half, though, I thought he did a really good job of first off getting mismatches, getting onto smaller players, then looking to post up on them, drawing a lot of fouls that way, looking for mismatches to attack. In transition, he was like, just hounding guys. And then defensively, I thought, I wouldn't say the Raptors were like particularly great defensively today, but I thought Scotty was, bringing a lot of energy on that front. He had a nice double team in the first half that led to a race out the layup. He had a block on Evan Mobley at the rim, which I thought was really cool. He had, a couple more, strips, just like I thought his intensity overall on defense was good. And then you could just see the positivity that he played with. And I know that like, whatever, like obviously we're looking for more than just positivity, but at the same time, it's like his engagement level was really high in the second half. Like you could really see him and Jamal in particular lifting up the spirits for this whole team at a certain point in the third quarter where the Raptors did get it down to like 1 or 2 possessions. Obviously, Cleveland was able to sort of turn it up, and Toronto was just missing a lot of opportunities, free throws, open threes, whatever, in the fourth quarter where they only scored 18 points. But like ultimately, yeah, I just like the engagement level from Scotty to like just stay in the match, keep fighting, keep fighting. And it was an uphill battle the whole entire time. Like Cleveland again, like Cleveland was up 38-22 after the first quarter, but to see the adjustment from Scotty from half to half was good. I think the ideal thing is you just don't want to see what happened in the first half, but like I think Scotty, especially for what he does, like he's not like a Donovan Mitchell who can just like pull up and get to his shots in a variety of ways and just mostly focus on scoring, like not put too much effort and energy into too much else, but just like really focus in on the thing that he does great. And Donovan Mitchell is a lethal thorough scorer. Like he was just, I mean, some of the shots he was hitting was just ridiculous, but he's been doing that all season, so that's not a surprise. Um, I think for Scotty, like he has to obviously, be multiple players at once. He's got to be the Raptors on ball defender a lot of times. And you saw him, like actively look to sort of take on the toughest assignments. He's also your help defender, rotating at the basket, rotating for steals, coming over for double teams. And then, of course, like you want him to sort of be the leader on offense as well. And of course, all this is exhausting. Like, that goes without saying. But at the same time, his scoring skill set isn't so effortless. It's not like he can just like, save his legs for a couple plays and just mostly go for catch and shoot jumpers or pull up threes and stuff like that. Like there has to be an intensity which he plays fast in transition, where he plays hard going downhill, where he's posting up, drawing, fouls and act and all this other stuff. Like that's all part of what goes into one of his games. But like, yeah, I mean, I think he just found the right balance in the second half. And whether you can sustain that for the whole, whether you can sustain that for the whole entire game is maybe questionable, especially over the course of the whole season. But I just thought the second half he played really well. So there's that's probably the main thing for me, was just seeing how Scottie was going to handle this. I think the other thing I wanted to see in a game like this was just like, do the Raptors have enough perimeter creation to sort of unlock what Cleveland does? Because I mean, first off, Cleveland's like pretty good defensively all over the court now, I feel like, but like, especially they have really great rim protection. And you know that as much as we've been like force feeding Jakob and he's been giving us like 2020 games, he's getting nicknames like Shaka Pirtle, like, which is a great nickname. I do really enjoy that. But like, you're just not going to do that against Cleveland. You're just not. Like Scottie, even the duck and stuff like that. I mean, he missed a lot of free throws. Otherwise, I think he would have been over 20 easily, but still wasn't going to shoot an efficient night. It was going to be a difficult night with how much contact he was going to take. Cleveland's going to shut down the paint, is what I'm trying to say. So do you have enough perimeter creation? And I thought, I mean, Cleveland did a couple of smart things. Number one, they went to zone against the Raptors second unit. The Raptors second unit just in general was much more leaky. I felt like they were turning the ball over a lot. One thing the Raptors starters did really well all game is all 5 starters for the Raptors, they only had 1 turnover each. That's it. Like, that's really good from your starting lineup. But the second unit for the Raptors just kept coughing the ball up. They weren't really, handling the pressure. Somehow Davion Mitchell had 6 turnovers for a guy who's not even making that many plays. He did have a couple steals and stuff like that to sort of offset it, but still, like, that's obviously like way too high for him. But like, yeah, went to zone. I thought their perimeter players were quite physical. The referees were kind of allowing a lot of physicality up top. Around the rim, they were, I mean, for the most part, they were calling a decently tight around the basket. The Raptors mostly got their free throws around the basket, but like, a lot of hand checking sort of gone uncalled in that one. And you just didn't feel that same threat. I mean, the way that Cleveland, like Toronto actually did a good job protecting the basket too, especially in a half court setting. But Cleveland was able to consistently get downhill and touch the paint because, Ty Jerome was able to sort of work the pick and rolls and get downhill. Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland was able to skip past. Like, there's just a lot of that stuff going on. And then, of course, Cleveland also had really good spacing in terms of just like kick out options, stuff like that. So they weren't even, if they were going downhill, they were mostly trying to like kick it out, or they were trying to like feed Allen on sloops to the basket. And Allen was pretty good. But like, yeah, I mean, that's the difference in a game like this. Toronto could not get those easy perimeter shots. Obviously the point guard position, especially with IQ out, is just not something that's going to create a lot. Davion Mitchell can hit the occasional shot. He also missed 2 free throws at one point, which is just super weird. He had like really nice steal against Donovan Mitchell, and then he gets fouled going the other way, and he goes over 2. Like, it's just something that was like a little bit deflating. But like, Davion's not going to create a lot, in general. Jamal Shead, he did knock down 2 threes, which was nice. That was part of a strong third quarter effort by the Raptors second unit. But like, that's kind of not really enough in the grand scheme of the game. RJ Barrett's obviously not going to create too much from the perimeter. He will try to drive downhill. And I thought RJ was actually in a good rhythm until I think the free throws really threw him off at some points. And also then he started becoming too stubborn, and he probably took like maybe 3 or 4 shots that he didn't need to at the basket. So he goes 6 of 18, but he's mostly having to get to the basket in order to be effective. And Scottie was mostly going to the basket to be effective. So it's like, who's going to be that perimeter creation for you? Now, Grady did a decent job of that. He got open for a lot of shots. He wasn't exactly hot tonight, 6 of 17, but I did like most of the looks that he took. But at the same time, like, I thought the Cavs also did a good job of being physical with him, making him run, making him like go the long way around. And he did have like one back cut going to the basket. Him and Jakob had a nice give and go sequence, but in general, the Raptors just couldn't get that much going from the perimeter. And I think that, when you think about the long-term outlook of what the Raptors have, like, that's one of the concerns is like, do you have one of these, like, especially you watch like most of the basketball around the league now, like, there's so many guys around the league who are just able to create from the perimeter, no problem. And whether they're getting downhill, whether they're getting their offense off the 3, off the pick and roll, like, the Raptors IQ is probably the closest guy to that. And unfortunately for him, he hasn't really been able to play that much since joining the Raptors. But, the hope is that he turns into that. But I think that's long-term, like, in terms of your perimeter shot creation, like, who is that guy for you? the Cavs have Donovan Mitchell, the Celtics have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I mean, the Cavs also got Darius Garland and Ty Jerome apparently. Um, like it's yeah. I mean, this is obviously many years down the line. You got to sort of think about this, but like that's sort of the level you got to get to, or you just got to get like one of these big forwards who are just able to create no matter what. Like I've been watching. Weirdly enough, I've seen 3 Magic games this week, which might suggest that I've been it's just been maybe a little bit too available. But like Franz Wagner's been just absolutely killing it. He had a crazy game winner over the Lakers this weekend, and like Paolo Banchero or like these kind of players. Like I just think the Raptors like are missing that shot creation element, and that's where again, if you're looking long term at this team, it's like if you're able to duck into the draft for 1 year and grab one of these guys who potentially has that sort of skill set, you want to be able to do it, or you want to see that developed. But I do think that this is like the hardest thing to create and develop. Like in terms of, yeah, I mean, guys, I suppose like Jimmy Butler kind of developed it coming into the league when he was mostly a 3-and-D guy, and then he was able to show more and more. And then, eventually it's like, okay, yeah, he can really create. And obviously turns it up to a different level in the playoffs. Kawhi, to a lesser degree, Kawhi had a very similar trajectory to Jimmy, where he was mostly 3-and-D even when he won his first Finals MVP with the Spurs. He was like obviously excellent at threes, excellent at defense, and he could get a little bit more offense going and stuff like that. He was finishing transition and stuff, but even then, I think he won the MVP averaging like 14 points. Like to go from that to like the next MVP, which obviously won with the Raptors for the finals, where he's averaging like Michael Jordan numbers for the entire playoff run. It's like, oh, okay, like he clearly was able to develop more and more of that. But yeah, I mean, either you get that developed into one of the Raptors' current players, or you duck into the draft and draft somebody with that skill set existing. Because yeah, I mean, especially in games like this, it just becomes very, very difficult. And of course, like the Raptors can like hustle and fight and play hard. That's ultimately what got them into this game or back into this game, was like Jonathan Mogbo running all over the place. He was awesome off the bench. He was just, he was carrying the Raptors second unit, quite frankly. Chris, I thought, did a good job alongside of Mogbo in the first half. Didn't see much from Chris in the second half. Seemed like he had a defensive gaffe, and then Darko just took him out, and he didn't see the court afterwards. Mogbo had 13 points, 7 rebounds. He hit a corner 3, which was nice. Took another corner 3, which was also nice. Hit 2 floaters over top of the Cavs 7-footers, which was also awesome. Stripped it a couple times, took it the length of the floor, blocked a shot at the rim. Like he just did a lot of good stuff. Like this was probably Mogbo's best game as a pro. And I was really impressed with him being so productive in 20 minutes. But like, yeah, ultimately, you're just not going to match what Cleveland had, especially because, again, like the way Ty Jerome was cooking the Raptors was just like it was pissing me off, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like I know he's been balling this season. I know that he's been like a huge story for Cleveland, but like the way he carved the Raptors apart. I mean, he was hitting like pull up mid range. He was like he's like pretty physical as a guard, but then he also like flopped his way into 2 free throws, which obviously is always very annoying. You're either gonna be physical or you flop, but like doing both is like extra annoying. But credit to him because he was outsmarting the Raptors defensively. He like pulled up for a 30-foot bomb at one point, might be even deeper than 30. I mean, it was just going crazy, and it was bringing Cleveland so much energy in terms of the rest of the team. It was getting Darius Garland that rest. It was getting Donovan Mitchell even some rest. It was, getting a lot of the guys like fired up. I mean, towards the end, like Scottie was even trying to guard him and stuff. But it's like, damn, like he's really, really like that. And it's not like the Raptors have been cooked by that many point guards this year, right? Like that Davion and Jamal Shead, having the 2 of those guys has made it a really nice thing where it's like most point guards don't have big nights against the Raptors because the Raptors can throw 2 really good point of attack defenders on them. And then you got Ty Jerome, who just killed us like so hard. And he did it in game 1 too, but obviously didn't, maybe not to this degree, but still, that's the perimeter shot creation I would love to see. Otherwise, I think the rest of the guys, like Ochai, was interesting because Darko continues to start Ochai, but that means that he's bringing 2 point guards off the bench. So that obviously does make it difficult to sort of like find minutes for both Davion and Jamal Shead. Scottie's been playing a lot of point for the starting lineup. I think that for the second half, with the Raptors switching it up and putting Ochai back on the bench and putting Davion Mitchell back into the starting lineup, I think that kind of created more opportunities where there was more ball handlers to set up Scottie to score more around the basket. I would be curious to hear, I guess, if Darko did have part of that in mind. Typically, you put Davion on the floor for his defensive prowess, but it felt like that also benefited Scottie a little bit because someone else can be the point guard and Scottie can sort of be more like a set up to score. Um, to be honest, I wouldn't even mind changing it up matchup by matchup. It's one thing if like Ochai is like doing such a great job defensively, but I think like whether he was guarding Donovan Mitchell or Davion Mitchell was guarding Donovan Mitchell, like it didn't really make a difference. So I think that Darko made the right call there. Good for Ochai though; he was still productive off the bench. He had a nice corner three, then he had a nice reverse layup attacking a closeout. With the second unit, so he just continues to produce no matter what. But I think that in order for Ochai to have started the second half, he would have needed to like lock down one of these guys. And as much as he's like a physical player who can he's responsible, he's not an airhead, he's got long arms, he's strong, but like I never feel like Ochai's shutting down a guy in the same way that like OG used to, for example. But like still Ochai was, decent for both the starting lineup and the bench lineup. I do think that though for the next game, maybe that Darko might just try starting with Davion Mitchell, especially because Davion did a great job against Cade in the first matchup against Detroit. Raptors lost that one, but Raptors really, really shut down Cade. I think he shot like 20% from the field, maybe less. Otherwise, you didn't see much of Jamison Battle. You didn't see much of that much else. I mean, Darko's been playing a deeper rotation, but he only played 9 guys tonight. And the only last thing is before we get to questions, is that Grady Dick apparently left the game with a calf contusion. So we'll see what happened. It felt like I saw him grimacing a little bit. He was able to play most of the game. He played 31 minutes. He went 6 to 17, whatever. Like I think he was just aggressive with the shots, but Cleveland was also mad physical with him, as is every team nowadays. Cleveland's just pretty physical on the perimeter though. Like you watch them, like they're really good at getting away with pushes on the perimeter. Like you try to screen and get a specific matchup, they'll do a good job of just pushing and denying being physical. But hopefully Grady's obviously okay because he's still for me the light of the season. And he didn't quite he wasn't scorching, but at the same time, in terms of who could actually create a shot on the perimeter, I felt like Grady with his off-ball movement and cutting was actually like probably the closest one. So yeah, I mean, whatever. That wasn't enough tonight, but we know that Cleveland is a much better team than the Raptors, especially right now. So, I would love to just pivot over and take some questions because there's not that many other things to sort of note from a game like this. So, I wanted to remind you that this is the Tangerine fan inbox. And Tangerine is the official bank of the Toronto Raptors, foundational partner of the WNBA Canada and NBA Canada. And of course, they're not just fans of fans. I mean, they're not just fans of basketball. They're fans of basketball. Sorry. It is late right now on a Sunday night, but they're fans of fans who have their own nickname for each guy in the starting five, or fans of fans who stand 5 inches from the television all game, and or fans who can recreate every player's layup package while sitting on their couch. If you're hearing this, there's no doubting your commitment. Fans like you are at the heart of what makes this game great. So for the Raptors' 30th season, Tangerine is turning the spotlight from the court to the stands and celebrating the way Raptor fans support their team, because this is how we fan. To learn more, visit tangerine.ca/basketball. All right, producer Alex, pop yourself onto the stream. And yeah, man, what questions we got?
Yo, what's going on, my brother? Let's see. Let's see. Here you go.
All right, there we go. James asks, once Bruce comes back, do you think he comes off the bench moving forward, or does he take Ochai's spot/minutes so we can showcase him for a trade? Um, I think for Bruce, the way Ochai's playing is kind of very similar to the way Bruce would play in general. So it's kind of like you would have 48 minutes of Ochai or like 48 minutes of Bruce, basically. I want to see where he's at physically. Unlike Scottie's facial injury or like IQ's shoulder injury, for example, or UCL, I guess that's an elbow. Um, that those you can still stay well conditioned and stuff like that. Like when you have knee surgery, obviously you're going to have an impact to the conditioning. When I did see Bruce playing and warming up before games last week in Toronto, or this week in Toronto, I suppose, He was certainly trying to just like run extra laps around the court and stuff. So I think that there's like a part of a conditioning stint there. But I mean, he's probably going to play like 20-ish minutes. I think he probably, if anything else, takes probably like Jamal Shead's minutes. Or anything else, because especially with Scottie back, it doesn't feel like we need to play 2 point guards. So that's my thinking. I mean, Alex, are you excited to see Bruce Brown as a Toronto Raptor?
Yeah, shouts to Bruce, man. He did a little like fan apology the other
Yeah.
day, which I
What's up
really
with that mea
appreciated.
culpa, man?
Yeah, no, I really appreciated that, and I feel like that's all the fans wanted to hear because people were really upset about like the timing of his surgery, and I think there was just a perception, I guess, that he just wasn't trying last year, or like he just didn't care to be
Mhm.
here. So,
Well,
I'm glad he kind of cleared that up. It's a good PR run just in time for a trade, hopefully in 2 months. You know what I'm saying?
well, no, actually, Bruce has been on a really good PR run, number one. So I think
Mm,
all the cowboy outfits was one. Don't forget, in
mm.
training camp, he also gifted every Raptor their own pair of signature
Oh, that's right. That's right.
cowboy boots.
Anything to distract from the 4-13 record. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, man, it's better than
Happy
Philadelphia.
days, baby. Hand that chain out.
Every time the Raptors lose, I just go watch Sixers highlights.
Oh man,
By the way,
Sixers
a
lost another
25
one
point
tonight.
slap. Yeah,
Yeah,
to
lost
your
another one
Cleveland
tonight.
or to your
What?
LA Clippers. Yeah, the Bruce thing is interesting to me because I think there's a couple of things that came with that. Number one, there was like when he came here, I think there were a lot of comments about like he was like, I'm just renting. Guys,
Mm,
I'm
mm,
renting. I'm not gonna move stuff here. You know what I mean? Like,
mm-hmm,
and I don't think that's unfair to him because like, you know, clearly the Raptors wanted to trade him and flip him again. Now,
mm-hmm.
granted, most times when you trade a player and there's interest around that player, you do a 3-team trade. I guess it was
Right.
already a 3-team trade, including New Orleans somehow threw Kira Lewis in there. But like
Not
ultimately,
Kira
if
Lewis.
no, I mean it feels like if the Raptors didn't necessarily need to keep Bruce, they probably could have just done a 3 or 4 team trade at that time. Clearly, there wasn't enough interest at that time or the trade deadline. Although it did carry a lot of content on the Raptors show. It was like Mark Stein bringing in our insider, our NBA insider. It's like, you got Bruce Brown trades for me, and he's like, oh brother, like there's bigger news across the NBA, but sure, I'll tell you who's interested in Bruce. Clearly, obviously, a trade didn't materialize. Then it kind of like became another cycle of like, is he gonna be here long term or not? Clearly, obviously, the Raptors going to pick up his option. That became a whole saga, and it's like, I mean, he did play through injury. I think that was something that became more apparent towards the end of last season. He clearly didn't get the best of Bruce, but at the same time, like, yeah, I mean, feelings can change, and I feel like he's actually fit in really well with this group. Does that mean he's gonna be a long-term Raptor, especially with the minutes going around the backcourt? Probably not. Like, you got Jacoby Walter, who's playing 905 right now. He needs minutes eventually. Grady's going to need minutes because he's taking a step forward. Ochai's going to need minutes because he's took a step forward. So, like, weirdly enough, I mean, he's a known commodity around the league. He's on a decent contract. I mean, especially if teams want to like move off some long-term money. I could see the Raptors capitalizing and using the contract, but like ultimately, like, I don't think it needs to be any animosity though. You know what I mean? Like, I never thought Bruce was just like mailing it in, so to speak.
Yeah, no, he said, so the official quote, people that don't know, he was like, quote, last year, I didn't look really engaged or not a lot of energy like I had previous teams. It's just because I was playing on one leg. It's a great explanation.
Okay.
I feel like I've told some bosses that before too.
I was gonna say this
It's
sounds like
yo,
a
I was
classic
on
Alex
one
Wong
leg,
statement.
man. My bad. No,
He's
but
like,
Bruce, I put Kelly Olynyk in there too, and we have some questions about Kelly, which we'll get
okay,
to as well.
all right.
Wow, multitasking is really hard. So Kelly, I think both of them could be like very interesting trade chips. Like I know they had just extended, Kelly after getting him and stuff, but I
Yeah.
feel like there'll be interest for Kelly as well too, right? Like provided he comes back and he's
Yeah,
healthy.
I think with Kelly, he's got to showcase that he's healthy because like it's been
Hmm.
over a month to start the season and he hasn't hit the court. Um, I have vivid memories of seeing Kelly Olynyk in that Raptors open practice in Montreal, and he was actually cooking, man.
Oh,
Feel
brother.
so bad, Kelly. Come back to the court soon, but like, yeah, I mean, again with all these things, like the Raptors got to be like sellers at the trade deadline, and not sellers in terms of like fire sellers. We're not just getting rid of pieces for nothing, but we need to take calls. I mean, this is not going to be a winning franchise, and it would be a decent move to get a nice pick in the draft. Like, let's actually take calls. And if teams give you a first for Bruce, you're definitely moving off of it. Although I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't think Bruce is gonna get you a first. And I don't think Kelly's gonna get you a first either.
Well,
So
I don't think the Raptors should just draw such a hard stance on that. Like especially with Bruce, like he's expiring, right? Like he's got
Yeah.
that weird contract. This is his last year. Like you already have a lot of promising young guys that people are excited about. Why not just keep cashing in and just getting assets? Like if you're holding firm, you don't end up getting a first rounder and just not making the deal and just letting Bruce walk. Like what's the
hmm
point?
Well, I mean,
So,
that is the thing. Like, at least last year they had the option of picking up Bobby talked so much about the optionality of
oh
Bruce Brown's
brother, stole
contract.
that from Bobby Marks. Yeah, that's my favorite Bobby.
Wow, wow. What happened to Asian
Um,
Mafia, man? Asian
no,
Mafia not
no,
a thing
no. You
anymore?
turn 40 and things change on you, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Let's
you
see.
both turned 40, so
Next question.
Danny XD, do you feel like the ball sticks too much when Scotty's the primary ball handler? I think to some degree, like Scotty really wants to like set up the offense in a way that like Davion is mostly like, all right, let's just get off the ball for the most part, or like let's get a simple ball screen. I think Scotty rarely feels like he's just getting a simple ball screen. Like it feels like he's got to get the ball screen, then he's got to get the switch and the mismatch, then he's going to get into the lane and kind of like get a defender on his hip. Then he's got to make a decision. I don't think it's like a bad thing necessarily. Like a lot of star players do this. But yeah, I do think he's taking more time on the ball than like RJ did. Actually, yeah, RJ even because I think it's not even time on the ball. It's just like how long do you have the ball above the 3-point arc before the actual like action is started? And I feel like RJ's like, I'm gonna get the ball, I'm gonna get a screen, I'm gonna go downhill, then we'll see what happens. Um, Davion is like, Jakob, come over here. We're gonna get the screen. I'm gonna throw you a pocket pass. We'll see what happens. Scotty's like, I think he tries to sort of do much more than that, and it takes more time for the play to set up. Some of that could be a chemistry thing too. But yeah, I mean, I do think he takes more time on the ball than those two guys right now.
Yeah, I feel
Is
like
that a bad thing
Scotty.
though?
No, but Scotty, like Scotty of any player right now on this team, and he's just coming back from injury. Like he's still trying. I think he's just trying to figure out how to play with these guys and stuff. Like
Yeah,
it's a
it's
new
fair.
team, right? And like I feel like RJ's role's been a little different this year. Like his playmaking's obviously stood out and stuff. So he's like arguably playing with a different version of RJ as well. And
Mm.
like a lot of these other players are new. So I think just give Scotty a little bit of time. Like I think of all the players on the team, it's probably the hardest for him to kind of just try to fit in, because they're looking for him to be like the primary guy, but like he's also got like the playmaking chops and things like that. So I
Yeah.
think it's always just like push and pull of him trying to figure out what his role is on the team. Plus,
Yeah,
this is a new role for him this year too, right?
no, this is why I thought this season was gonna be so interesting, is because like
Yeah.
these young players like sorting out what they actually are. It's like
Hmm.
seeing a bunch of kids going off to like leadership camp, and it's like, are you going to be able to grow and be out of your comfort zone and showcase like
Yeah.
something new?
The,
You know what I mean? And
the happiest 4-14 team, 4-13 team on earth, baby.
we got a chain,
They
we
don't they
got a
don't gotta bring the
crown.
chain. They don't gotta bring the chain on the road, man. No wins so far. You know what I'm saying?
They might be. I don't know if that chain is with them right now, man.
Did they bring it on this trip? You think? Yeah, I would have just left it, man. No point trying to clear customs with that. You
I
know?
was gonna say
That's
that
gonna ring off, man.
that thing's got so many diamonds and pieces in it that like you would actually have to declare that thing, man.
They gotta hide it between Garrett Temple's like 8 suits.
No, seriously, like I actually want to know which assistant coach's job, because the Raptors have like 15 assistant coaches, it feels like.
Yeah.
Which assistant coach's job is just to bring the chain along?
Yeah. Like after a win, it's like, who do they go to in the locker room?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yo, get the chain,
Eric
Noah
Curry,
Lewis.
man, come over
Yeah,
here, bro.
yeah. Yo, Corey, where's Corey at, man?
Unpack that thing, man.
Come on. We 4-12 now, man. Let's go.
Grease up the chain so it spins,
Yo,
because sometimes
yo.
it gets stuck, you know?
Oh my God, they got have you explained? You've talked about like who made the chain and everything, right?
I haven't. I mean, yeah, Kalani made the chain, man.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
honestly, Kalani they're very well known for making big custom pieces. Like I
No,
think you could
shouts to
literally look it
Kalani,
up.
but man,
I think they made like 4 or 5 chains for Drake, for
that
example.
thing
You know
never
what I mean?
spins properly, eh? Because they're always trying to spin it.
I
don't think it's their fault.
I think Eric just got to drop a couple, a couple drops of loop in there, just get it going, man.
Oh my God.
I don't think that's a defect. I think that's just yeah, the chain's also not been used. I feel like if they're Cleveland level of like what, 17-1, like that chain will be spinning every day kind of thing. Be like, Ty Jerome for the 10th time this season. Here's the chain. Like
we should do a running count on, because like I only drive my like '06 Civic like once a week, like at most. We should do a running monthly count of like whether the Raptors use the chain as much versus me using my car, bro.
Oh,
like it's
wow.
actually a pretty close call.
I was gonna say Chris is
Betway,
coming up.
throw that one up.
This guy
Oh.
definitely going to mark him a couple of times. Next one from
question.
Nesta. Will, who hurts more to watch torching the Raptors, Peyton Pritchard or Ty Jerome? Honestly, I made my peace with Peyton Pritchard, man. Like Peyton Pritchard got my respect. You know what I mean? Every time he
Yo, I
comes on
love
the
Peyton
court,
Pritchard. Have I
yeah,
ever told you that? I love Peyton
yeah,
Pritchard.
you know,
dog.
you are a big fan of Peyton Pritchard. What's appealing to Peyton Pritchard for
He
you? Is it
could
because you're a big
start on-
Eminem
He
fan?
could start on 29 other teams.
I don't know about start on 20. He's not starting on Cleveland.
You don't think Peyton Pritchard's a starter? What do you think? He's just like a souped up TJ McConnell? Like he's pretty good, man.
He's better than TJ.
He's a
better
hooper,
than TJ.
man. I think
for
Peyton
sure.
Pritchard.
Hooper.
I think Peyton Pritchard could average 25 points as a starter
What?
on a starting team. Yeah, I don't.
I
think
mean,
that's
he
crazy.
could average 25 on the Brooklyn Nets, but like,
No, I'm a big fan of Peyton Pritchard, man.
I
But
like Peyton
Ty
Pritchard.
Jerome's a good story, man.
Ty Jerome's a great story, man.
Kinda
No, I mean,
came, you
I
know,
just I didn't know he was so nice though. That's the thing. Like
Yeah.
he's nice and
well,
he's physical.
He's crushed us like what twice now, right? Opening.
He's
night.
crushed everybody in the league, but yeah,
Yeah.
I think he's especially crushed us. And again, like,
Damn.
I
Is
know
he?
this has been this. What's up?
He's a most improved. He got to be a most improved candidate, no?
Yeah, I guess so.
Not to get my gambling on or anything, but
Oh yeah, you trying to look at those Ty Jerome 6 man of the year?
no,
odds?
but he's got to be one of the leading guys, no? But I guess not on that level. Like not on that level.
He has been sick though. I can't even lie. I know you look at it tonight, but I think
Who
I made
hurts
my
you
peace
more,
with
bro?
Peyton Pritchard, man. I made my peace with Peyton Pritchard. Like Boston in general hurts me, so like it kind of just like is part of the background. It's like
Yeah.
you know, it's just whatever. Like Raps with the Celtics, I just don't expect to win.
Boston, not even that like I don't know. Maybe the people in the chat will disagree, but it's like Boston, not even that much of a hated team right now, man. Like, except for Al Horford. Every time I see Al Horford, I think of the T.J. Ford injury.
Yo,
But
same.
it's like there's nothing much to hate about Boston, except for the fact that they jack up 65 threes a game.
I mean, as long as they make 20, like you can't ever beat
Basketball
this
is
guy.
crazy, man. Playing math is crazy, man.
Yeah, it's nasty. By the way, as the producer in the chat, have you dropped W's in the chat? I know.
Yeah,
this
I
is
did
your
it really
new
early.
favorite activity.
I said L on the court and W's in the chat, and then got a couple W's. So
We got a couple W's in the chat.
yeah,
Can
throw
we get
those
some?
W's. Okay, everybody's saying F Boston. So okay, my bad.
Okay,
I
yeah,
was
there you
wrong,
go.
guys.
Yeah, yo, hit the like button by the way for the stream. I forgot to say that up top.
Yo,
but
hit the like. Yo, give me some W's in the chat. Just discovered Kai Cenat the other day, so just starting to really learn this environment here.
40-year-old learns Twitch. I love
Next
it, man.
question.
It's good. It's good. Glenn Sama, shouts to Glenn Sama, man. This man been killing it with the questions. What's with the double mascots trying to appease different demos? What's going on, man?
So I looked this up. For you.
Okay.
So the Cavs have two mascots. So the original mascot
the
is
dog?
So they have a musketeer type guy who's been around called Sir CC. So I guess the CC stands for Cleveland Cavaliers.
CC,
I guess
do you love me?
I guess his full name is Sir Cleveland Cavalier, and he's been around I guess since 2010. Did they just not have a mascot before that? And then they recently added Moondog, who is
right. Yeah, I know Moondog. Yeah,
and Moondog is actually based on it's actually to honor famous Cleveland radio DJ Alan Freed, who actually coined the phrase rock and roll. And sparked a music explosion in the 1950s. And when he was on the radio, Freed would always call himself the Moondog and his listeners the Moondoggers.
Oh,
so the Moondog, Moondog is actually dedicated to the spirit of Alan Freed. So
I thought the Moondog was like a chung rice hot dog.
I don't know.
It's got the mooncake flavor in it.
A moon glizzy. I don't know if that answers the question, but this is what Glenn Sama is referring to. The Cavaliers have two mascots. If the Raptors were to add, I mean, the Raptors did that, right? With that Lil Raptor. Sorry, I forgot the name.
No, Stripes. They did add Stripes. So Stripes is another Raptor.
A payment service. Stripes.
Stripes was jokes because I think so. There's one year where the Raptors, mascot, who is just an absolute legend. Well, we both know who it is, but that person really prefers to keep their identity secret.
Yeah,
so
we can't. Yeah.
That person tore his ACL one season, and so he couldn't do most of the regular stunts.
Yeah,
and
so
they had
Raptor
to bring in Stripes for the year. But
Yeah.
I believe Stripes, after like the regular Raptor got healthy, they just banished Stripes to the 905. So I mean, we might have to check with sideline reporter Lindsey Dunn, which I was watching Raptors 905 live stream on the college 506 streetcar.
Okay, yeah.
506 and
I thought
Heartbreaks.
that's who
I
they
was
were
just
playing. Yeah.
no, they were playing
I thought they
Jackie's
were.
Play.
I thought they were playing the college 504. I was like, okay,
That's the
is that
College
the
Park
Wizards? Is
Skyhawks.
that the Wizards team?
Respect the College Park
That's
Skyhawks.
crazy.
But I was watching.
They have a mascot too, right?
So I think Stripes is just with the 905. Like,
Stripes got demoted.
They got demoted. Now I know the Raptor
Yeah.
himself actually does have an assistant that kind of like helps him with stunts. Like
a real life.
But it's
assistant.
not. Yeah, but it's not a second mascot. Which in this case, like, I suppose it's kind of weird. Do you think I hope they work in tandem. Like, does Moondog is he like the pet of the Musket Man?
I don't know, man. This is veering into like Zach low post mascot obsession territory. So.
Did you know the Nets were going to be the Swamp Dragons?
I've never found mascots to be interesting in general, but like, shouts to the Raptor though, you know.
No, the Raptor's an actual legend, man. I think there's like maybe 5 people still working since day one with the team.
Yeah,
you would know better because you wrote Prehistoric.
You know, Paul Jones.
Yeah.
Herbie Kuhn.
Herbie
Kuhn. Yeah. Leo Rounds. I know Leo's been like a couple different roles, but like,
hey man, Leo been around.
And then there's people at the arena that like we might not know the names of, but like they've been there. Yeah. Like even Doreen Doyle, who got a shout out during the Vince Carter retirement ceremony. D. Yeah, okay, she's been there.
Okay, DeMar DeRozan.
Maybe think before you use nicknames.
All right, DD.
God. But yeah, this is the follow up question: is that because you know the Moondoggers was the name for Alan Freed's radio people? What should listeners of Hello and Welcome be called? Would love some you know, suggestions in the chat too.
Yeah, drop some suggestions and some.
Someone said welcomers. Hello doggers.
Hello doggers. That's
not gonna
terrible,
work.
Man.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Not gonna lie, that's not good.
The Hello Gang. Yeah.
I mean, we do have. So we actually there is a Reddit. There's a subreddit called the Losers subreddit. So it's
based on your last name. Yeah, shouts
LOUSERs. Yeah, we haven't posted.
Someone said the Greeters. The Greeters is pretty.
The Greeters.
It's like a hello
I like
welcome,
that.
Right?
Yeah. The Greeters and the Skeeters. Those are the ones on Blue Sky.
Michael Austin said,
Greeters is actually kind of sick. I kind of like that.
Are we not still losers? Yeah, we're all losers, man. Yeah,
I mean, we're losers until the Raptors go above 500, I suppose.
Oh, brother.
Yeah. You like Greeters? You like Greeters?
Yeah, Greeters is cool. I feel like we workshop that a little, but that's the current. Okay, let's see what other questions there are here.
Yo, this is mad chill, man.
We're gonna veer off path here, okay?
Let's go. Okay. Yosef Cassidy.
Keep sending in your questions, by the way. Keep
number one engagement. Number one engagement fan. Absolutely, man. Question: favorite pregame spot, food or drinks? With what drink or dish do you pregame? Obviously, number one place to go pregame, postgame, during the game is Greta Bar YYZ. You already know already. We're gonna get to the most important guy later on. But aside from Greta, I mean, I don't know. What'd you pregame with today? I'm not gonna lie. I had a bowl of shin noodles, man. I was like, I've been mad tired all day because we woke up early to go play. We woke up early to get spanked by 40 by a bunch of 20-year-old athletes.
Yeah.
So I've been like fatigued all day, so I only had the energy to make a bowl of shin ramen.
Yeah, no, I mean we went to Wingstop in the afternoon, and that was enough to kind of fill.
That was not helping, man. I feel terrible. I'm not gonna lie, my stomach been doing backflips, man.
But also,
I feel like Jerome snaking a pick and roll in there right now.
I guess pregame spot too when you're at the arena is definitely the Shanghai 360.
Oh, yeah,
which is in the Union Station food court.
Yeah.
Which everybody should check out. Yeah.
Yeah, so
nice internet connection, man. You tapping in from Planet Namek right now, or what, bro?
Yo, I swear, this. I'm not gonna lie to you,
join
man.
Capsule Corp.
It's supposed to have. I'm paying for 500 megabytes download, and I think like only 10 uploads. So maybe I gotta get a different package going.
This guy future trunks right now, man. That's crazy.
But no, but so if you go to different arenas around the NBA, like different teams will have different policies. So like when we were at the Laker game, for example, because when I was at the Laker game, like they had a full food spread. The Clipper game was actually insane. This Alex, actually, we'll talk about this.
Yeah. Cool. No. Yeah, I guess we might talk about this on the banter pod.
We'll talk about this on the banter pod. But
let me just say, man, shout outs to Dennis Rodgers, shout out to Justine Jones and the entire Clippers PR team, for rolling out that hello and welcome carpet for us at the Intuit Dome.
They were the real breeders.
We don't travel with the team like the dedicated.
No, this is the first year we've actually done it a couple times.
Yeah, I've never really had a chance to like check out a lot of. I mean, I've been to like a couple other arenas and stuff, but it's like
used to work out in New York, for example. Yeah,
but man, like that food spread in LA, yeah, that's number one right now. That's
it's legit chef's kiss, man.
Mamma mia. Yeah,
you're gonna have to listen to the actual banter pod for the full list of the Hungry Caterpillar list of what Alex Wong ate. But I'll just tell you, it was 6 courses.
Oh yeah, you did write down what I ate, right? Yeah.
Yeah, man. I got I got notes, man.
And then did we not get In-N-Out Burger that same night? I think we got In-N-Out that same night. No, this was the other night. Yeah, never mind. Yo, keep sending in your questions, guys.
55 burger, whatever. But the thing is, for the Raptors, like they actually don't like do media meals anymore. So like the best option for me, I find, is just to like leave the building and then go into the Union Station like concourse area where there are a lot of food options. I would say the 3 stars, obviously Shanghai 360 number 1 star, no question, man. Get that 2-item box. Those Asian ladies are just like hassling you. They're like, what do you want? Rice or noodle? I'm like, oh damn.
Yeah,
I haven't decided. But like the 2-item box I think comes out to like $14-15. Like it's a pretty good deal. You get one meat,
that's standard Toronto downtown,
That's like, well, I mean, honestly,
just bring $100 downtown with you. You get a nice food court meal and a haircut. Yeah.
That's
and maybe catch the College 504.
You might
the Capital City Go-Go bus.
By the way, that took 30 minutes for me to get home. Is just across that stupid bus.
There was a Santa Claus parade today, man. Shout out to the Santa Claus parade.
Yeah, because we were crossing University and there was like 1 million people. I thought it was the bike lane protest.
So Jerome Chang and I, not to be confused with Ty Jerome, like had to loop around underground just to like get to the other side of King.
Y'all taking the pass?
Yeah, love complaining about Toronto. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, there's there's a decent sushi spot and there's also a patty place. I think Coco Express or something like that. I think they do like 2 patties for like $4. Like it's not a pretty good deal.
Oh yeah, the patties is nice there too. Is there a Kibo sushi there? I'm a big fan of Kibo sushi in general.
There's also the other one that's like a pink one. There's also like Roy Woods. Sometimes if you want Roy Woods I just find to be average.
The comedian, the Jamaican spot, the OVO artist.
No, one of the Roy Woods down there. There's Roy is a.
I'm a big Kibo fan, man.
Yeah, okay.
Monkey sushi, drop in a second, man. Kibo cash and carry, that's the move.
Bro, when we worked at Yahoo, like at King of Sped Night, we used to always go to that Kibo, like just in the alleyway there.
Yeah,
remember?
Yeah.
Get that combination A play. I don't know. I might be freezing, so you might not know what I'm saying.
Yeah, have you even heard anything I've said? So someone in the chat said, "Call us the broth." Wait. Can you explain? Can the person explain that? Yeah, I want to know.
Is this
like the hello and welcome?
Is this the nickname that they're proposing?
Yeah. The broth, I think that one's okay. Not bad. Okay, let me see.
The broth.
Yes. Right. Okay, so Tina wants to know, how did the Sportverse media game go? So we're gonna recap this on the Vanderbilt coming this week, and so if you go, so we played in this charity game today, second annual for us against TMU athletes, and all you need to know is I believe we were down by like 30 points when the game went to Elam ending in the fourth
Yo, that was crazy. They're like, the target score is 9 or 79. Like, we were at like 31.
You're getting spanked, but here you go. Please, you're gonna get spanked for another 3 minutes. Yeah, but shouts to TMU journalism students for having us be part of the game.
I will say a couple things. Number one, I've never had a good performance ever in Mattamy Athletic Center. Like the Raps Republic tournaments are also there too. I've never played well in that. 2 media games, I think I have a combined 4 points. I think I actually have exactly combined 4 points. I think this one, basically it's like it's 20-year-old like super in shape athletes versus like not in shape media members. Let's be honest. You know what I mean?
us. Yeah.
Yeah, so we
Versus
got
us.
crushed. Also, man, the court is just too damn long. Like we play at a very like we
Well,
play every week in a Tuesday high school
yeah.
run.
I
That's
was
fine, but yeah, I
I
was
mean,
exhausted.
we've run on the actual like Scotiabank Arena court, but I guess
Oh,
those games we
that's
did
way too big, man.
but those games we did half court. Um and
No,
then
we played in the media game last year. Media game was like
oh yeah. I mean, I didn't play
media
in
game
that
was
one. I was
full length
straight
of
for
the
that.
court, and also the NBA 3 is so long to shoot from, man. Like,
Yeah, I've made one of those in game.
yeah,
For
you have,
some
yeah.
for some reason. Yeah, no, the court was really long, but we'll get into that. Just wanted Tina to know that we definitely there was no MVP
No, we got
winning
killed, man.
this year. There was no celebration. Social media feeds from us today was real quiet.
I'm not gonna repost no
Real.
stories, man.
No,
No,
it
no
was real.
stories.
It was real quiet today. I was just gonna like post an old Raekwon song on Spotify or something
Ooh,
and keep it moving.
man,
You know what I'm
keep it
saying?
moving, man. Here's Alex's dad once again in
There's
pajamas.
another one for you. Next question.
Oh, here's another hit, Barry Bonds. All right, that's
Oh,
the.
good.
Can we hear your quick thoughts on Fred VanVleet going off on the refs again last night?
Yeah. So
I
for people
didn't
who
actually
didn't
see
see
the right.
people who didn't see the video, I don't know what was the play in question.
Yeah.
But Fred basically did, if you guys saw Kelly Oubre last year walk up to every ref and
Yeah.
basically, curse them out. Fred did the same thing, essentially, but I
Yeah.
believe he also made contact with one of the refs when he was trying to
He
point at them.
maybe he made a contact.
Yeah,
maybe
like
he didn't. I don't know.
brief.
It's not like
Well,
he
it's
like
one of-
slapped the ref or nothing. Like,
But it's one of those things where it's like, does even just any physical contact with the ref warrant a deeper like suspension? That's really the question.
if it's
Or is-
incidental,
or-
then nah. But
Or is Adam Silver soft? Yeah.
I think Adam Silver's proven to be fairly soft. I feel like it's been a players' league for like the last decade, but
I feel like we've moved off the conversation of like, does the NBA have a referee problem though? I feel like that was bubbling a little bit last year.
I think
Like-
what happened was like they really struggled to get a new crop of referees in. It feels like there was like a little bit too much turnover, and then like there just wasn't an established rapport.
Yeah,
And I think that actually played a big part in it. But
because I mean, Fred was the leader of that when he called out Ben Taylor when he was here, right?
that's an all-time quote, man.
Yeah, like he did that,
Yeah.
and then
Ben
Darko
Taylor,
did
effing
Darko did
terrible.
his rant last year, in
Yeah.
LA.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like that was a big topic of conversation, but it's like I feel like people have moved on. Now the new conversation, which we've joined as well, is like, yo, why does the NBA suck?
Finding reasons why the
like,
NBA
not that they suck. It's just like improving the product. NBA is not in its prime right now.
You know what? Honestly, there's a bit of that, but also I think the NBA was just in a weird lull where there wasn't a good storyline to start the season. And that's why I got to say thank you to the Philadelphia 76ers for giving us a great storyline.
No, but this is what I'm saying.
Everything Sixers, man.
But this is what I'm saying.
Sixers,
It's
I
like,
want to know.
what does this say about the league that your most interesting regular season team is 3-13? Or like your most interesting regular season team is like the worst team in the league? Like in what other league would that be the case?
I mean, hate watching is like a real activity, especially online now, especially with so much.
I get like the
online.
Sixers are a very specific thing, but I don't know. To me, it's like, damn, like what other stories are there?
I'm not gonna lie. I was watching Sixers Grizzlies. Embiid had 30 points, but it was like a very unethical 30. But it was like Jake LaRavia was torching them, man. Scottie Pippen Jr., Jaren Jackson, Desmond Bane. Who else is coming off that? But Zach Edey didn't even play. John Morant didn't play. Marcus Smart didn't play. Like, it was crazy watching that. Like, Santi Aldama didn't have a good game. Like, I think honestly, hate watching the Sixers might be my number one team to watch in the league right now. It's just tuning to the Sixers game and just like hoping that they get crushed. So
yeah, I still stand by. I feel like they'll turn it around. I feel like they'll end the season at 500 and get into the playoffs.
I was gonna say, do you think the Sixers will be above 500 at any point this year? Because right now they're I think 10 games under.
I don't know about above, but like I still think they'll get back to 500. And also, if we had won that 16th to 19th pick lottery thing, we could have gotten Jared McCain. Huh?
Yo, there was a 4-way coin flip.
Yeah.
That the Raptors lost.
What did they bring a 4-headed coin? Who was there? Two-Face? Like, how did they do that?
What is free?
Yo, that's insane. Yeah, but we could have drafted 16th, right?
We could have drafted 16th. I believe Miami, LA, like the Lakers.
Yeah.
Philadelphia,
And us. And Indiana,
and
right?
Indiana
Indiana
all had the
via
exact
us.
same
Yeah.
record. They all had finished with 47 wins, so it had to
Mhm.
be a four-way coin flip. And yeah, the
Yeah.
Raptors got 19th. Jacoby had a decent game in the 905 this last couple of weeks. I don't think it's totally fair because like Lakers also
It's
got
super.
Dalton Connect,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the Heat
It's
got Khalil Ware, who hasn't really played much this year, but Connect obviously been like a huge deal in LA. He torched the Jazz, man. I've been watching a lot of hoop this week.
yeah, a lot of hoop, man.
A
Yeah,
lot of hoop,
please.
man.
Let's
Yeah.
see what
But
else.
I mean,
What
Fred going
else?
off against the refs, like I think actually, honestly, like the thing is, like once in a while, you still will see some like really petty Raptors slander towards Fred, which I'm like, oh yeah, Fred's shooting badly from three again. Cool. Like, are you noticing the fact that the Rockets are 12-6 right now, man?
Yeah, the
Like
Rockets
that's
are.
really impressive. They're like one of the top defensive teams in the league, if not like they're probably number 2 or 3, but like they've been great.
I,
Like, and he's
I haven't
been
watched. I haven't
really
watched a lot
galvanizing
of.
for the whole
I
team.
haven't watched a lot of Rockets, so I don't know
Mhm.
like how big of a factor Fred has been for them. Because I know the young guys have been
Fred,
playing
Fred,
really well,
Fred
right?
plays like 40 minutes a game. He's obviously got
Yeah.
to be a big part of this. Now, of course, it's not like the only reason why the Rockets are playing well. They got a lot of good contributors, and I'm not trying to say that like Fred shooting a poor percentage isn't a poor percentage. Like he's shooting 39% from the field and 30% from three. Like it's kind of, we've seen this before,
Oh
but
boy, this
ultimately,
is when I had Kemba Walker on my fantasy team numbers.
oh no, this man playing fantasy. I didn't know you like
No,
hoop like
this
that,
is
man.
years ago. By the way, get well soon
Yeah.
to Grant Williams, man. All jokes aside, I saw he had
Yo,
suffered a season-ending injury, man. Shouts to Grant, man.
he tore
Honestly,
his ACL, man. That's tough.
I know we'd be talking about Grant all the time, jokes and stuff, but
I
come
mean,
on, man.
yeah.
Get
You
well
know
soon.
what? You never want to see anyone injured, man.
No, for sure.
All right.
Okay, let's see what else. What
Yo,
else
no,
is
Jerome. We just take questions. Is sick, man. Love you, Jerome,
um
but sick of all
un-
Jeromes today, especially
un-
Ty.
time with Garrett Temple when? Okay, so we get asked this. I put this up because like we get asked this a lot.
Yeah.
Because I think people do enjoy the banter that you have
Sure.
with Garrett.
Mm-hmm.
I'm enjoying all the banter.
Yeah. Drops
So
don't hit the same, man. Derek, bro, come back, bro.
Derek
We miss you,
Burndale, what
Derek.
up? But like, I guess I'm trying to figure. So okay, I guess the way we'll say it is like we actually did try to negotiate to have Garrett Temple be a
Mm-hmm.
regular guest on Hello and Welcome
Mm-hmm.
this season.
Yeah.
And a bit of a free agency bidding war happened,
Mm.
and I think he ended up deciding to sign an exclusive appearance deal with another show.
Mm.
So that's really the whole story. But like Garrett's still super chill with us. Like you saw him in training camp, you see him all the time.
Yeah, man.
We chat and stuff. You guys chat and stuff. So like yeah, we love Garrett, man. So maybe
Garrett's a great dude.
we'll take another run at him when he's retired.
Okay. Honestly, I'm down because again, I thought the idea that we had to pitch Garrett was cool. Like it's cool to like call him on Zoom and ask about what happened with basketball this week with the Raptors, whatever. But like,
Yeah.
I think would have been really cool because Garrett's he's such a wealth of knowledge and he's been around the league for so long and he's obviously so involved in the NBPA
Mhm.
that like I want to do the whole series of like, okay, the episodes would be evergreen, but it was like a kind of like a starter pack for like how to be an NBA player, like how to
Starter
carve
pack,
out a long
not
term.
a blue sky term.
So it's like I think like I want to do like how do NBA players handle finances? You know what I mean? And like talk about like
yes.
the money aspect of that.
Just
How
because he has so much knowledge,
Yeah.
just like from his experiences, right?
How do NBA players
Yeah.
handle dating or like relationships? You know what I mean?
Well, I think
How do NBA players handle like training? You know what I mean? Like I thought all
Yeah.
in these little subjects to get his wisdom in would have been really cool.
Well, I think one of the things too, like speaking to just like the show, is like having done a previous version, Raptor show at like Sportsnet and things like that.
Mhm.
Like we're given great access by the team. Like you are always able to sit down with the players, like do the 15-minute interviews and stuff.
Yeah.
I think one of the things we want to be mindful of to push, even as an independent program, is like being able to get athletes, but also in a way where we're creating like content, like you mentioned, that's
Mhm.
like evergreen. That's not kind of just pegged to like the current news cycle and stuff.
Yeah.
And sometimes when it's like kind of like us trying to like maybe thread the needle on that, but I truly believe like that gives us the greatest like best content that we can produce with these people. Like I don't want to settle for
totally
just
agree.
like I don't want to just settle for that like other stuff. Like even I know Andrew Nemhard is like the one that we kind of look at right now that we've done so
We got
far.
another
like,
thing coming out with Norm soon. You'll
yeah,
see.
that's a
maybe
good.
maybe this week.
That's a,
Maybe, I don't know.
No, next week, bro. Chill.
Next week? Okay.
That's
next week
that's a
with Norm
good.
Powell.
But I think that's a good example of like what we want to do with like Nemhard, and with Garrett it would have been super cool too. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
I just see this get asked a lot by some people. So figured I'd throw it up and just kind of answer that.
no, it's totally fair. Again, like this is what happens. Like I think when you work for the team that owns or the company that owns the team, it's
Hmm.
like they're looking to like try to feed it as much as possible, right? Versus like
Hmm.
on the outside, like number one, we're worried about like rocking the boat. Are we asking for too much? Whatever. But also number
Hmm.
two is just like, you do get outcompeted with some resources from time to time. At the same time, though, it's like
Yeah.
we're still going to keep pushing because I think that like more than anything else, what's going to demonstrate value and the reason I even have like a sort of a back and forth relationship with Garrett in the first place is because we were able to demonstrate that value. It was the same thing when like with Dennis Schroeder, for example, when he joined the Raptors, like it was I happened to be at Summer League. I asked, can we get an interview with him? Sat down. He really enjoyed the interview. And then afterwards, he kind of asked me a little bit about my craft and my career, whatever. I think there was a part of him that wanted to do more media in the first place,
Hmm.
but like that kind of translated to that. But like all that, the genesis of all that comes from like actually building a connection with the players and getting a time to sort of like really enjoy those combos. So I'm just hoping to get back to that. But again, like that was always sort of like the cherry on top of the sundae for me in terms of like being able to do this job. So
Yeah,
we'll
for
get more
sure,
chances.
man.
Don't worry, man.
Yeah, this other one is similar. In the chat was like, "Oh, Zach Edey, and his mom Julia on the pod when." This is an interesting thing too, because like I
Sure.
had a chance to meet Edey when he was still at Purdue. He had
Hmm.
come back to Toronto, done a CCYA charity event, and that was
Yeah.
when I got to meet his mom, and it was like a super cool conversation, just getting to know her story. Obviously, with the Chinese background, like learning about like Zach's time in Toronto and stuff.
Hmm.
But one of the things like we'll try for Edie when he's in Toronto and stuff. Obviously, he's a very like coveted kind of guy now, especially
It's
being in
also
the
with
NBA.
rookies is especially difficult because they really
Yeah,
want to be able to focus on like let's get through this year. It's already
yeah,
so overwhelming. Let's not try to make any headlines because I think for most
hmm,
media like appearances, you got to go through number one the team's PR staff and then number two the player representatives like their agency. You know what I mean? And of course
yeah,
the player can maybe want to. Obviously, when you're older, like you're Paul George or whatever, you can do whatever you want basically. But
hmm,
like I think for earlier on, they're so conservative because they're way more worried about what the downside could be with one
yeah.
misattributed quote
There's a
versus the
lot.
upside of like showcasing a player's personality.
There's a lot more to lose, and I think that's the one thing I was talking to like Liban Osman about too, who
Mm.
looks like Clyde Drexler time traveled 20 years ahead. Because like Liban does a lot of work with access to athletes too. Great work
Yeah,
at Toronto Star that
he's
people should
really,
check
really
out.
good. Yeah.
And like he's smart in that like he loves telling stories of guys who are still in high school and
Mhm.
college, and he's able to build those relationships, right? And then, like
Yeah. And
once
he's
you're
able to
able to
build trust,
establish,
yeah,
yeah,
with agencies, with players.
hmm,
And it's at a point where it's like win-win. Because again, there's a period where they want to get press for their players. Going into the
hmm,
draft, they want to get press. Going
yeah,
into McDonald's All-American game, they want to get press for that. Yeah.
yeah. Just want to give people, I don't know if people care, but just a
No,
little
it's fine.
insight to how
Yeah.
these things work and stuff, right? And it's
Hmm.
like it is really, I don't know. I find this stuff sometimes to be interesting because like just
Yeah.
access to athletes is like changing so much now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, last one. Does Alex collect basketball cards? What's up with the PSA hat?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
so
is up with this hat, man?
I've been wearing
People.
this PSA hat. So PSA is like the card grading company. So I went to a sports card show. I guess this would have been like maybe like last year. And my
Okay.
friends, shouts to Kevin from Livestock, shouts to Trevor Louie. They're like huge card guys. They're bringing a bunch of cards to PSA to get graded,
Mm.
and there was a merch booth there, and like people that know me, like too, like I love
Yeah. Yeah.
merch. And there was a PSA trucker hat, and like Kevin was like, yo, who would buy that and wear that? So it landed on my head. I just like the fit of the hat, man, like
Oh,
just
that's it.
yeah.
Because
That's
because we got hello and welcome trucker hats, man.
yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, it's right here
Yo,
on my
put put
shelf.
put it put it on, man.
No,
Show
man,
the
I'm not a
fans, man.
I'm not a mascot, man.
Yo, put it on.
um
Put on
No,
the
but
hat.
this hat gets so many comments because like sports card collectors are
Yeah.
like everywhere. Yeah,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
like people, I'll just be walking on the
But
street
you
and I'll
don't
be
even
like,
collect though.
"Yo." No, I'm not. I mean, I have a couple cards that like friends give me. So I have like I'm showing here like a Victor
Oh, a Wemby.
Wembanyama.
Ooh,
Yeah,
man.
I don't know what the
How
grade
much
is
is
on
that?
this. I don't know. If my friends are if my friends are giving it to me, it's probably not worth that much.
Fair enough.
So yeah, no, I'm definitely not a card collector. Are you a big card collector with the little Pokemon ears poking out the back there in the
Oh
background?
man,
Like you
I,
collect Pokemon or stuff?
I feel like the closest I ever got to being like addicted to something was when I was a kid. I was like so addicted to opening Yu-Gi-Oh card packs. This is
Oh
like
yeah.
peak Yu-Gi-Oh moments. Like this is like
Yu-Gi-Oh
probably
is like the Pepsi to
2006,
Pokemon's
2007.
Coke. Like, are they Coke and Pepsi or no?
Nah, Yu-Gi-Oh is a whole separate thing, man. I mean, 'cause
Okay.
Pokemon has a trading card game, which is like decently popular because Pokemon's like super popular. But like
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh was like specifically a trading card game, and then they built a
Mm.
manga and they built like video games and stuff like that too. But like, um, I was super into Yu-Gi-Oh cards to the point where like, especially when I was like 11 or 12 years old, I used to like honestly, I am ashamed to say this. I'm so ashamed, but like. Yeah, I used to thief money from my parents just so I can go to the like convenience store to buy more packs and crack more of them. Like it was, I think my parents knew.
Mm.
I think my parents knew. Like they were probably like, "Hey, why am I missing $20 once a week?" But like,
Yeah.
um, yeah, like I used to like just play Yu-Gi-Oh. I used to like go to some tournaments as well. Nothing that serious. I wasn't that good.
Tournaments.
Yeah, man, you go to Excalibur in Etobicoke. Any fans of Excalibur in Etobicoke up on Royal York and Bloor? But
Oh my god.
yeah, like that was probably the only time. And then I was like, I honestly I grew out of it in the sense that like the people I used to play with like kind of stopped playing with.
Yeah.
So because I changed schools and stuff like that. So then I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave this in the past. But once in a while, like I will still like want to buy a pack just for the sensation of cracking a pack, man.
Yeah.
Do
Sorry,
I
I was
still
just
have the cards? I
yeah,
do
I was
still have
just
the
showing a new
cards.
question so I could hide the question because I couldn't find the other one.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I was just like freaking out right now.
Okay.
Multitasking is so hard for me.
Jerome's like,
So,
what are you guys still doing
all right,
over
let's
here?
wrap it up. Are we doing your awards and Mig or Betway
Let's do
first?
our awards and then we have a special segment at the end. So to
Okay.
wrap up this show, we have our 3 stars of tonight's game. First star, I mean, I want to give us to Jonathan Mogbo. I thought he played really well off the bench, man. Mogbo had a really good game. Again, I've liked that he's been working on this corner three a lot. And every time I go to the Raptors games and I go watch the warm ups and stuff like that, like he's working on those corner threes. No, it doesn't really feel like he's working them from anywhere else, but I like that he actually took 2 of them. Like, just if you're gonna work on it, I want to see you shoot it in the game, and he did a good job of that. His hustle was really good. His energy was great, pushing it end to end. I just think that like there's a bit of wildness still with him, but like ultimately he's playing so hard, and in specific matchups, I think he's really popping off. But he had a really good game, 13 points, 7 rebounds for the rookie. Your second star, I'm gonna give that to. Jamal Shead, I'll give it to Jamal Shead. Why not, man? Again, like I like that Jamal's been working on his three. That was the main thing for him. It was just like, are you going to be able to knock down the three? Because I think the defense plays. I still think that there's probably times where he's got to pick and choose his intensity, but it's like way easier to rein in a player versus trying to get a guy to go play harder. But he plays, obviously all out all the time. But I like him knock down some threes. Again, watching him warm up, the threes actually, it's not broken or anything. It's not like there's like a bad something on it. I did ask Darko about it once. I think he talked about the balance of it, but like ultimately, like it's not like he's got like a janky shot or that. It just hasn't really connected to that distance to that degree. But yeah, he knocked down 2 threes as part of the Raptors third quarter, which the Raptors played quite well in that third. And then your third star, I'll give it a second half. Scottie Barnes. He was definitely the Raptors' best player in the second half. First half, I thought he really struggled, but 18, 7, and 7 with 3 steals and a block for Scottie. Your Gerald Henderson award, you already know who it is. It is Ty Jerome. Jerome get more points than Brandon, 26 points, 5 assists, 4 steals, a block. He was just killing the Raptors all over the court, man. He was like, I can't believe how good he was tonight. It was genuinely heartbreaking. And then, of course, your most important guy presented by Greta. Actually, the most important guy is actually 2 people here. It is actually 2 friends of the program who listen. I've actually been able to meet both of them, take pictures with them at the arena. I've actually signed this guy's like warm-up jacket, but I want to say a
Wow,
congratulations.
ruined someone's warm up jacket. That
Well,
sucks.
he's also got it signed by like at least 10 Raptors by now. So like,
Mm.
it's kind of cool. I put my Chinese name on there too. That's how I know he's special. But big shouts to Anthony and Lucy, the friends of the program. They actually got engaged at Scotiabank Arena on the court post game. I think it was the Pacers game. But yeah, he actually had told me because we saw each other before the game. we were all kind of waiting to sort of like just see Pascal's warm up and stuff like that. And he kind of like, whispered, he's like, yo, man, I'm going to propose tonight. And I was like, okay, this is going to be super cool.
Oh, you should have reported it on Twitter. It would have been sick.
Juan Shams, breaking news. You're going to get a ring is in the building.
That's super cool, man. I did see the photos and videos. Cool. Super cool.
The Raptors actually posted the videos as well, but big shouts to both Anthony and Lucy. Also, big shouts to my friends Shane and Sasha, who also got engaged. Damn, I guess in the last month or so. So that was really cool. I got to catch up with them at the Silhouette's 95th anniversary this weekend, which was very, very cool. But big love to just people getting engaged in general, man.
Yeah,
but that was really cool.
Here's a photo. Jerome Chang, not to be confused with Ty Jerome. Let's put this up.
Oh yeah, there we go.
So there's 4 jerseys here. The number 24 on the court, and each of them say one word. Will you marry me? So yeah, man, would love that me 24 jersey. A me jersey is incredible. Yeah. Like, I'm surprised you know.
Me.
I'm guessing those are gonna get framed because it's such a special.
I'm guessing that they're not gonna just give it away, but they are actually big fans of the program.
This is a variation of like saying you're him. It's like, yo, I'm me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's sick. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Please don't give me that jersey. Please frame that up. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like you can beg your way into this jersey for sure.
Yeah. All right. So
that's cool.
Lastly, before we wrap up here,
what's going on, man?
Just want to let you know that. You've been watching a lot of NBA? You say you watched 3 Orlando Magic games.
Bro, I've been watching everything this week.
I know.
Yeah.
I know you've been following the Adam Silver's Emirates NBA Cup.
Well, I mean, it's not because of that, but yeah, sure. Okay.
And the Golden State Warriors right now are at the top of Group C with a 3-0 record.
Oh, word.
And how the NBA Cup works for the uninitiated is that there's 6 group winners. Make it to the single elimination quarterfinals, and also 1 wildcard team per conference. So basically the best second place team. So right now the Warriors are looking good to go through 3-0. Their only remaining group play game is at Denver, and there's only one team in their group, Dallas, who is 2-1, but currently missing Luka Doncic, who can catch them. Now, Golden State is trailing. They would probably lose on point differential if they were tied with Dallas, because their point differential is plus 12. Dallas is plus 41 right now. But I checked the standings, ran the algorithms. Even if Golden State, I think, falls to 3-1, they're looking in good shape.
Yeah, they're going to go
try to go through with the wild card as well.
3-0, you're going to go through. Yeah.
And you know what? NBA Cup, I like to bet on guys who, live for the moment, man. And who lives for the moment? My guy, Steph Curry. So right now the Warriors are 7-1 on Betway.
Yeah.
To win the Emirates NBA Cup. If you want to get that bet in right now, I feel like those are pretty good odds. Hit the QR code below and check that out.
I think the NBA would love nothing more than for its first 2 NBA Cups to be won by LeBron and the Lakers, and then Steph and the Warriors. So obviously the players got to go out and actually deliver as well. The team's got to go do that. But the Warriors are playing really well this season. And like the hottest teams in November and December are going to be the ones that are favorites for this cup. So yeah, I like this, man.
Yeah, 7-1. So that's it, man.
That's it.
Yep. Raptors back at it
tomorrow night. That's right. Let's all come back here tomorrow night so that we can go live after Raptors Pistons. We'll see if Grady's available for that one. But if the Raptors play with the intensity that they played with tonight, I think that it'll be a defensive affair, but I think the Raptors can pull it out tomorrow against Detroit. They do owe them a bit of measure of revenge. But thanks everyone for listening. Once again, if you haven't liked already, if you watched this far, just hit like before you.
W's in the chat.
Okay, W's in the chat is not helpful. Liking the stream and this link is helpful. Subscribing to the Hello and Welcome channel is helpful because then you'll get an alert and notification whenever we do go live, which is pretty much after every game now. My whole life revolves around this. And otherwise, appreciate you for listening. Rate, review, subscribe on the podcast charts. And this has been the Hello and Welcome podcast presented by Betway.